Hi. We were told that there were over 100 planned riots by far-right thugs on the 7th of August this year. They didn't happen. Mainstream media reported some counter-protests, and it was claimed that this was a great victory for good over evil, the peace-loving majority thwarting the evil racists. You don't need much of a brain to smell a rat. When you try to really discover how the authorities knew there were going to be over 100 riots, it's all smoke and mirrors. The police would say that they had informers, I guess. Monitoring social media would be another reason, but as we know, social media is manipulated by everybody. There are no hard facts. The truth is, probably no one knew. It was a piece of political theatre, heightened and designed to frighten people, but also to create a phony drama. Look, they say, the beast is coming. Ah, but wait, the good guys are out on the streets in force and have destroyed it. Hurrah! Common sense prevails. The good guys win. No, I suspect much of this was manufactured to create the illusion that the liberal elite is still firmly in control when push comes to shove. The illusion that Starmer's private Stasi has frightened people into submission, and that the streets are returning to normal, and that ordinary decent people have won the day against far-right racist thugs. The fact that many online mainstream sources use the same pictures of counter-protests suggests there wasn't a great deal of counter-protesting going on. But it doesn't matter, because 1,000 people can be reported as 10,000, 100 as 20,000. It's all pantomime. And we have to see that we're being lied to all the time. Yes, during the past week there were riots and people looting and destroying in their own communities and attacking others, including the police. And that's horrible to see. But it was misdirected anger. There were deep, as we know, underlying reasons. But the political class has no intention of even acknowledging, let alone trying to grapple with, these underlying problems. It is hubris gone mad. And it's what David Icke used to call the problem reaction solution situation, to explain how a globalist agenda advances. You know, the liberal elites create a problem or misrepresent it and manipulate it. In this case, it's the far right thugs, and then use the media to create a horrified reaction and then offer a solution. Clamped down by a private army, censor free speech, encourage counter-protests as part of the solution. The counter-protest simply means one group of people on the bottom lining up against another. If they clash, then all well and good, because the real problems are left alone, and the liberal elite can carry on with its own agenda, which is mass migration, keep in power, feed on collateral. As Katie Hopkins rightly says, charities, religions, politicians all make money from the mass distribution of human flesh, for labour, for housing and food contracts, for bureaucracies, for medicines, for travel, for disrupting communities. And if it ends in war, then goody, because war is one of the biggest money spinners ever. And it's great for controlling people and clamping down on dissent. So I'm saying that the riots and the narrative woven around them is gross misrepresentation. They've been manipulated and squeezed into a good-evil narrative that's both cynical and silly, and it will not end well. Ugly creates ugly. If you create ugly situations for people, their response might eventually turn very ugly too. It's a simple equation. We are governed by people who are not very intelligent, but they are selfishly cunning and good at simplistic spin. And they have moved so far from reality that they are dangerous. Starmer and the liberal elite view is not, why are these people really taking to the streets? But it's, we have to crush these dissenters. Thomas Sowell once said that you should always ask people on the left when they're banging on about what must be done a simple question: at what cost? So, quell the riots. At what cost? At the cost of free speech, at the cost of democracy, at the cost of ignoring all fears about mass migration, illegal migration, the failure of multiculturalism. Okay, then what you really want is a totalitarian state. Now I get it. That's what you're prepared That's the cost. Nations are like gardens. What you plant, you reap. Let's remind ourselves what the real problems are. The two recent triggers that sent a lot of people understandably over the edge were the murders of children in Southport by a second-generation migrant. It's not racist to say he's black. It is not racist to say most of the victims and the perpetrators of knife crimes are black or Asian, especially young people aged between 10 and 25. You know, that fact comes from the National Library of Medicine in the United States in a report on knife crime in the UK. So there's no political axe to grind. These are facts, not expressions of racism, but we've become frightened of facts. I wonder why. The second trigger was the arrest of Tommy Robinson after a wholly peaceful demonstration of Britishness and solidarity in London. He was arrested on the basis of anti-terrorist laws created by Tony Blair, who wanted to control everyone and everything. The Southport killings and the gratuitous and completely unnecessary arrest of Robinson were the two triggers, but we know these were simply the final straws in a long history of bubbling content. And these things are support for the divisive, often violent and corrupt Black Lives Matter movement, support for Hamas, Pakistani grooming gangs and the way they're protected by the authorities, two-tier policing and a two-tier justice system, the erosion of agriculture and industry, the racist denigration of the English white working class, which has been the backbone of this country economically and culturally. There's a gratuitous lockdown, attacks on free speech, a bullying vaccination campaign, the rise in knife crimes, burglaries and on-street mugging, the protection of minority groups at the expense of the majority, the rise in radical Islam, unrestricted illegal migration, the imposition of woke thinking in our educational system and cultural industries and media, the lack of proper journalism in mainstream media, the failure to deliver Brexit, the ludicrous guilt campaign about our imperial past. We are becoming a third world country, the widening gap between the haves and have-nots, the hideous political speech making by celebrities who know nothing, the manipulation of a green agenda and ignoring of alternative views on climate change, church leaders who are frightened of Christianity. Our streets are not safe, people can't pay their bills, our children are not safe, we have no borders, we have no idea who's in the country or what the designs are. You can be damn sure there are very few doctors and nurses and teachers among them. This list could be even longer, but these are the things underlying the recent triggers. And these are the things that the liberal elite have planted in the soil of England and for which will spring all manner of bad crops, weeds and poisonous plants. Without rooting these things out, the current problems will not go away. The danger is that they go deeper and there will be hell to pay when they eventually burst out. Do please share and subscribe. I put links below to other videos and to books and to my play. Do please come and see it if you can. Thank you.